Because of the corona pandemic, Joe Biden has so far refrained from visiting abroad. He mostly participated in meetings virtually. The US president intends to make his first face-to-face visit to Europe in just a few weeks. For Joe Biden, the US presidency has primarily been a desk job since he took office in January. The corona pandemic is still forcing Biden and many other heads of state to hold virtual conferences, and there are hardly any face-to-face meetings. However, Biden is now planning to meet in person for the first time. As announced by the White House, the US president will attend the G7 summit in Great Britain and the NATO summit in Belgium. With the trip, Biden wanted to underline his goal of reviving transatlantic relations and cooperation with allies. At the summit of 7 leading industrial countries from June 11 to 13th in Cornwall, England, Biden will reaffirm his commitment to multilateralism, it said. In addition, Biden is also holding bilateral talks with G7 heads of state and government, including British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. At the summit, Biden is likely to meet Chancellor Angela Merkel personally for the first time since taking office on January 20th. Biden is traveling from Great Britain to Brussels for the meeting of the heads of state and government of the 30 NATO countries on June 14th. President Biden will reaffirm the United States' commitment to NATO, transatlantic security, and collective defense, a statement said. During his stay in Brussels, Biden will also take part in the top meeting with the EU. Among other things, it should be about the fight against the pandemic, the revitalization of the global economy, the fight against climate change, the strengthening of democracy, and other common foreign policy concerns. Relations between the United States and many allies were severely strained under Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump. Germany in particular was repeatedly attacked by Trump. The Republican had also threatened the US to leave NATO. The Democrat Biden wants to put the relationship back on a solid foundation. EU Council President Charles Michel also announced the EU-US summit with President Joe Biden on Friday. Michel's spokesman announced that there should be a special EU summit on May 25th. It should be about the corona pandemic, climate protection, and relations with Russia. Last week, Biden received the Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga for the first time, a high-ranking foreign guest in the White House. South Korean President Moon Jae-in is planning a visit to Washington next month. Japan and South Korea are important US allies in Asia. And just to make one thing clear, because I'm quite sure that certain newspapers on the other side of the channel will use that again, the locations, England and Brussels, are not any sign for special relationships or whatever. It is just because the G7 summit takes part as planned for years in England this year, and the NATO summit is in Brussels. The NATO is based in Brussels. So don't interpret any special relations into that. Biden knows how important these two institutions are, and that's why he's going there. And it's a wise move of him to do that and meet several heads of state and government at the same time on his first trip abroad. So nobody can say anything about special relationships. We are better than the others. He prevents a competition with that, even if some tabloids want to sell it differently. But if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. Auf Wiedersehen.